What's going on? I'm Protec, aka PTV. I'm a new streamer. I've been streaming for a few months now, and I hooked up with eLegend Gaming. He just came in my room one day, like a random host or something. Been talking for a few months, and yeah, now I'm here, man, chilling.
Like I don't know if you know much about eLegend, but our community was formed with the ideology of promoting healthy and social conscious gaming and breaking stereotypes. And so I think maybe along the lines of what happened, what stopped you from practicing was something that someone like our viewers and our community might learn from. Do you want to maybe talk about it? Do you want to elaborate on
Yeah,
something?
yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's kind of the cool thing about streaming is that like I'm able to go back and talk to like my 16, 15, 14-year-old self and kind of, maybe shed some advice and shed some light. So yeah, I'm all about opening up. Basically, I was afraid to do everything when I was a kid. Didn't really know why. You know, uh, elementary school dances, um, get-togethers when friends would be like, "Hey, Dan, come over my house." I'm like, why? And Halo's at home, like, why am I going over your house? Like, I just didn't understand what everybody else accepted as normal. It just didn't make sense to me. Like going into the lunchroom with all these people, for some reason, it just never was easy for me to grasp. I don't know. I never knew what the problem was. I just knew that I felt like that, and it continued my entire life. Through elementary school, through middle school, through everything. It just kind of always stayed there, and I didn't know that it was abnormal. I didn't know that it was a problem. I definitely didn't know that it was a issue or medical issue that could be treated. I had no idea. Fast forward a little bit to like middle school, high school. So we moved a little bit out the way. We went to a new high school, and I was kind of like I was the entire lifespan that I had up to that moment of kind of feeling like afraid, but not really afraid. Like I wasn't afraid of people. I wasn't like I was actually pretty friendly. I talked to people, and I make friends, and I was somewhat popular in some cases. I was a really good basketball player, really really good basketball player. A good athlete. I work out. I still work out every day. That's why I said Master Chief Body. So it got to a point like the feeling of abnormal got to a point where it turned into legitimate fear. And I'm not talking like
Not like a
there's a
phobia.
ghost. Yeah, like not like like oh my god, a ghost, like not like a jump scare like Five Nights at Freddy. It was legitimate fear. And I kind of like I every time I explain the story, I try to be like like what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of like being in open water and not knowing what's under you? Are you afraid of like a spider? Spiders crawling all over you. It got to a point where that's what it was like for me to open the door to my high school. Like legitimately, like I couldn't walk in that high school, or if I did, my mom would drop me off. Okay, bye, mom, and then I'd kind of like just walk home.
Right, right.
Yeah, so I had to drop out. So I ended up dropping out of high school because I couldn't do it. And I guess the turning point for me was when I was 20 years old. It was the night before my 21st birthday. So it was May 27th. My birthday is May 28th, if you guys are wondering, wanted to give me a present. Um, and I had that feeling of the high school thing, walking into high school. I had that feeling again. That feeling was coming back. Didn't know what was going on. More and more I thought about it, more and more I thought about it. I was like, okay, wait a minute. This is a big step for me, or for people in general, for the social norm, right? You turn 21, all these new social expectations are put on you. It's not like something you accept. It's these expectations are put on you. 21 years old, you're gonna go hang out at the bar. You're gonna go hang out at these clubs. Do this stuff. You're gonna get drunk. You're gonna have all this stuff. That paralyzing fear came back, and this time my mom was awake, or my mom came down and saw me in that state of fear, And I didn't have a name for it then, but my mom was like, listen, Dan, you're having a panic attack. Like, you're freaking out. Like, you're having a panic attack. You need to calm down. You need to breathe. So, me and my mom had a nice little bonding moment. And then next day, I hate her because she puts me in a car and, I'm like, hey, Mom, where are we going? And she's just like, oh, we're going to a psychiatrist. I'm like, yeah, no, we're not. No.
Like when you take your pet to the vet.
Yeah, man. I was like, Ma, like, this is crazy. This is not why I was doing. We had such a good time last night, didn't we? We talked. We had conversation. This isn't what we. Do we really want to go down this road, Ma? And she forced me to get into that psychiatrist's office, and yeah, and I just learned about myself and learned about my feelings of before, my life previous, of the times I spent in elementary school, all these crazy social, like, this is why I didn't want to hang out with Billy after recess. This is why I didn't want to go to the sleepover. This is why I didn't want to go to the dance. It was because I was diagnosed with a few things, but I guess the main ones is, chronic depression and social phobia and social anxiety. So it was something that I dealt with that my entire life, never knew about it.
So then how, like, if you had to kind of summarize it, would you say that you cope with, your condition by staying ahead of the game and by, exceeding people's expectations instead of meeting them, or you just do your own thing and, like, that's what gets you through, like, that's what helps you, deal with it?
Well, kind of goes into streaming quite a bit, because there are two ways I feel, or there's one way. Like, when I went to a psychiatrist, how do you do it? Like, Doc, how do I fix anxiety? And I'll never forget this. He said, well, sometimes, anxiety, you can medicate it.
Lots of Ativan.
Yeah, you can exactly. You can talk about it. You can take all XYZ medicine, but at the end of the day, you have to slay the dragon, and that stayed with me for a long, long time. Slay the dragon, David versus Goliath. I have to slay this, like, mythical demon entity, and that could be the right way to think for some people. That could be something that legitimately helps you. Me, however, since I've been dealing with this for my entire life, even, after I got, diagnosed with the issues that, I was diagnosed with, I feel that you don't always have to slay the dragon. Maybe you just have to get close to him. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's the best way I can explain it, the best way that I deal with what I deal with, especially as a streamer, because, why would someone with social phobia want to be in the most social thing in video games? Why wouldn't I just go be a programmer and I can, like, just sit at my desk and write code for the next 30 years? Well, I believe that what I am doing to myself is I'm working within my comfort zone, but I am still pushing myself, over the line every now and then. I'm still pushing myself to the boundary. I'm still, like, flirting with that line of comfort and uncomfortable, and I think that's what works for me. Video games, biggest comfort zone that I have. However, I am working within a social boundary. So I am choosing to pursue a career in video games, in streaming, because it is so familiar. It is a place where I am so comfortable, and it is a place that I am going to be accepted by people with very, very similar problems, very, very similar lives, and very, very, similar issues going on. It is a place where I can be accepted. It is a place where I can have a break, but still, be in the, live life and pay bills and do this stuff, So it really is like a godsend of a job for me, because it kind of incorporates everything.